Hi, and welcome to Thunderbolts, the place that we analyze pop culture under the lens of a future licensed therapist. Please subscribe. And now, let's overview the movie that I choose for today, the Thunderbolts, the last Marvel movie. That I really like it because I think they give us like a really good fresh air about like the different movie that we'll be receiving with them. I'm a huge Marvel fan, like you can see here. I've been really loyal to all the movie, but I really like this new different focus of this movie. I make some notes here that I would like to discuss with you guys and to see how what is your opinion in the comments. Like I said, this movie I don't think it's for everyone. I think it's different from the franchise for the movies that we've been like watching lately with them. There's so many movies since Iron Man, and I like the risk about taking a different approach, because even though this movie have actions, have good scenes, good special effects, this is totally a movie that is focused on mental health, and this channel is about mental health with pop culture. So what an amazing movie to start. I like the change of the focus, like I mentioned before, and I like how raw is the movie, how obvious is about this mental health, and definitely how introspective is this movie. My initial thoughts that I wrote here is about the emotional path of every character, and the themes about mental health that we will touching today is depression, addiction, loneliness, emptiness, and how this group of broken people try to find a purpose together. Some of them consciously, some of them unconsciously, and that hits different for each one. Why depression? Because I can see characters in a numbness, in a mood of avoidance, and also like an emotional disconnection with the reality, the present. I think there's something that happens a lot when you are in a depression mood. Normally you just feel like a zombie mood, that people sometimes even don't have this energy in their bodies to go, but that doesn't mean that you are depressed is only your stay on bed. People have sometimes this misconception like you're only depressed when you don't eat and you're in your bed all the time, but you can be depressed and continue with your life, even that that you look like a function person, but inside you the depression is killing you. I would like to talk about addiction. There's a character Centrum that I'm gonna talk more about him in a few, but about how people use addiction as a coping mechanism when you are coming from an anxiety state or for a depression state. And then I would like to talk about purpose, because I think there's something you're gonna see in so many channels, so many videos about how you have to find your purpose, what is your passion, everything. And sometimes people are even confused what is purpose. And I like how this movie, some characters are looking and searching for this purpose in a really conscious way, and the other ones they're doing like they don't even know that they're looking for a purpose. So, but all of them are kind of like in the same meaning. When we face depression and anxiety, our internal compass often screams for purpose. Like our soul is screaming for purpose, because that's what we just feel like we're not alive anymore. When you don't have a purpose, sometimes or most of the time you stop feeling this fire on you, or this you don't feel alive anymore. And that's when you start to even losing this energy that it goes to your physical goes to a physical situation that you don't even have energy to do exercise or to do anything, even to read a book. You don't want to even like listen any more music. It doesn't have even more sense on you. So purpose gives you this alive feeling. That's the reasons most of the time people find a purpose and kind of like heal an addiction, heal so many things that are behind the addiction, like the depression, the anxiety, and those main ones. I think that there's the strongest one that we have to deal with. Let's go to the characters. Let's focus character. I'm gonna choose 4 characters because I think there's so many here. It's a group. I don't want to talk about Ghost, even though I thought it was a really cool character, but I think if it kind of like give too much for the purpose of this channel, like there's not too much to get from her. The same for other ones that probably we saw over there. But I'm gonna focus in Jelena Belova. Jelena Belova. I like how she opens the film, jumping from the building. It's kind of like a zombie just dying there, and you kind of feel like, oh my god, this is a really a person that just don't care about their life, for don't use another word. But it's really interesting how she described the moment, like saying like, I just come here, just do what I have to do, and she clearly say you like, I don't have a purpose anymore, I don't find a purpose, life doesn't have sense, so I just doing what I have to do. And it's really symbolic, that scene, for me, that she's not afraid for nothing, because that's kind of when you feel so disconnected with life, with your emotions, you don't care anymore, you just put yourself in more risky situations. And I like how she clear from the beginning of the movie set up this kind of go straightforward with the problem, like about like, I don't have a purpose, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just a zombie that's going to work. And I think that's really big for a movie, for this type of movie, of course, because I know we choose another movie like they're more like drama and everything, we can see a bit more like deep situation about this subject. But like I say, for a really pop culture movie, I think it was really interesting. And another thing about her is how, and that's kind of like I think a lot of people gonna relate with her, because for example, she relate with her sister, she lost her sister, and she think like copying what Natasha did, being an Avenger, she can, if she kind of like do something similar, she can be feeling alive, you know, she can have a purpose, you know. Natalia was having a purpose, her sister, the Black Widow, she was an Avenger, so she kind of like asking to be a front row superhero, because she say, if Natasha maybe once feeling like me, maybe I should be doing the same. And that's kind of happens a lot of us when we see social media or friends around us, how we kind of get, sometimes we get inspired, and that's good, but sometimes we get kind of like we just want to copy like what other people are doing, because they say, if this person is doing this, maybe I'm gonna feel fine like this person, maybe that's what is gonna heal me for this void that I feel so deep inside of me. So that was really interesting for me, how she approached the fact that say, if I do my sister's journey, maybe I'm gonna be fine. And sometimes it doesn't work exactly like that, and I think the movie proved that. Even that she ended being an Avenger, she has to go to her own path. Then I would like to talk about the boy Sentry. I think Sentry is the most obvious mental health character in this movie, because totally he embodies all this childhood trauma, family conflict, domestic violence, all this past that was bringing him, like making him so broken. And he just trying to find a coping mechanism through meth. He's a meth addict in the movie. So like super clear. That was something like, it was kind of like really interesting to see in a Marvel movie. But what I like the most is how you realize when the person have an addiction, but still being a good person, still having so much to say. Being addicted doesn't define you. I think that's what he tried to prove in the movie, because for example, he was an addicted person. He was having like a lot of addiction problems, but he decided to go to this lab and let these people do an experiment on him. In that way, he feels like healed, because he kind of like went there saying like maybe I'm gonna feel better there. I'm gonna help for a project. I'm gonna be part of this safeguard of the United States, like fighting for protecting the world. And kind of like it's going to addiction to another addiction, kind of like, no, I'm over of this coping mechanism, I'm over of this addiction define me, so I'm just gonna go to another way. But I'm still running away from my problems. I still run away with the things that hurt me a lot in the past. I'm still broken, but this time just gonna turn to be a superhero. It's something that I wrote here that I like. I see how his powers offer kind of this control to feel like he's on power, no, but without confronting his trauma. It's kind of like just putting like a lid on a boiling pot. Like it just maybe like the addictions on the part, like the meth addiction was like maybe like a heavy lid on this boiling water pot, but now the superhero is a stronger one, so now can really have full control of everything. But still, sooner or later, it's gonna explode no matter what, because sometimes when you have so much trauma and so much inside of you that you didn't confront yet, I think it's gonna come no matter what in a different way. So I think that's what happens to him. I don't think he never comes with the fact that there's gonna happen that he's gonna turn to the void. He thought it's gonna be only the superhero part, and he thought like this is gonna be part of my past, and it wasn't like that. The void was there. I like how they represent this dark shadow and how he angry was, because I think that represent all of us when we're trying to focus in something like more in work or in a relationship and everything, and we think everything's gonna be amazing, but then comes this dark side on this new focus that we have for kind of like avoid these traumas. So that was really interesting for me. Then I would like to talk about Bucky. He's the Winter Soldier. He's one of my favorite characters besides the purpose of this channel. I think he's a really cool superhero. I like all his journey, and I think also because I watched the TV show that was in Disney Plus, that was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I knew that he, in that TV show, they was showing that he was on therapy. He was doing therapy with I remember it was a girl, it was a doctor that was really confronting him. I like those sessions. So you can tell here, for example, especially that I know about this show, you can tell in this movie that this is a person that went to a therapy. Went to therapy. Why? Because you can see how his story is involved in this movie. The fact that he became more compassionate about the other ones and understand how he broken was this thing, understand their pain, kind of like encourage them like with the roles, and that's kind of like typical with survivors of trauma when they're kind of like go through the trauma and totally ending. Those who heal trauma, they become the mirrors of others. That's they give you like a power. You develop like a power of see a whole picture. You don't judge more people just like that. You don't see just something and you just kind of like make a big judgment or like some about the person, their behaviors. You kind of like go, what is the whole picture? What is behind all of this? Because you went through a lot, that you can understand other people maybe went through the same or even worse path or different but like really heavy one. So I think how this character treat the other ones and how he kind of like read the room, read the team that he's into it, and I think how comfortable he's feel in this team. That's when you normally people relate with other people that went through the same level of trauma. So he kind of feels, even that he went to therapy, he still feel like he came out for this broken character, and now he's a survivor, so he feel like these people are gonna understand me. I can understand these people. So that brings some connections. Even our brains develop these connections in a level that's really strong, because when you find someone that feels really similar things, you find really similar things like you have, that kind of like get something like a really deep connection. I like that character of him. Even I thought that he, maybe I read some comments about people saying like he didn't show up too much in the movie. It was looking like he's gonna be more like a main character, and I think his character was fine. I think that was what was needed for this movie, because I don't think showing him like another broken person doesn't make sense with kind of like the balance that you want to show in this movie. Like he kind of like the sponsor of this, kind of like when you go to this addict groups like SAA or AA, you always gonna try to find like a sponsor and everything. So you see people kind of like try to guide you. Even the sponsors are the one that feeling really good to help you because they're kind of like feel this purpose in themselves. Like we were talking about, purpose is a really important part in our recovery journey. Then I would like to talk, last one, I would like to talk about Red Guardian. This is another kind of addiction I think people don't know, or people sometimes forget about. This kind of addiction is the addiction to the past. You can see from the beginning of his scenes, he likes to be rewatching his videos over and over again when he was like the big Red Guardian, the superhero for Russia and everything. He's just rewatching and rewatching, and he likes to feel these connections. And it's really important to know that sometimes you can get addicted to your past because you struggle so much with the present that you just want to get back to the past. That's a typical addiction that people sometimes forget, that you just want to like run away from your present and just be back to the past in those moments that you was feeling good, instead to confront what is your currently state of life. It's you probably hear some people saying like, I would like to be a kid again when I don't have any responsibilities, or people saying like, I would like to be single again because I have to deal with all these marriage problems. And that's when you, in people that go there over and over again like this character, that's when you realize that you're just trying to run away because again you don't find any purpose in this moment, this life, but you was feeling maybe in the moment, so you're just getting back there. And another thing important I think I would like to mention about this character, about this imposter syndrome that he has, because he feel like he's gonna be a good father for Yelena, and Yelena is just looking for a father. And sometimes she just not even asking what kind of father. She just want that he become like the father he was feeling, that she was feeling that he was. But he feels so like sad with his current life, with his present life, that he doesn't feel like he can be a father. So that's really important to say. Sometimes you feel like you just want perfection. You know, if I'm not good in something, I'm not good in nothing. So that represents really good this character. The personal connection I have with this movie is I really relate with the imposter syndrome. You know, these inner voices like saying, oh, you're not good for nothing, or you're not good for this. You know, you always feel guilty about your success. You're always comparing yourself with the other ones, and when you get something like a recognition, you feel maybe I don't deserve that one. So I feel really connected with that. Another personal connection that I can say about with Bucky, I went through therapy and changed my life, and I feel more related with people that have like problems and trauma, and I feel like I just want to support them because I just want to like share my emotions and my compassion with them. This movie reminds me a lot of this concept that Carl Jung have, is a psychology. They have this concept about the shadow. The shadow, everybody has a shadow. They hide in your really some part of yourself that you always try to bury, like you just want to deal with it. And I think this movie represents totally what Carl Jung was saying. This movie is showing like everybody's trying to run away with their trauma, their past, their depression, or their emptiness, or this void. They're always trying to run away. They're trying to bury. They're trying to keep it on the shadow. But healing starts when you confront the shadow. And not only because Carl Jung say that, I think it's something that I just read a lot. I hear a lot. I learned a lot, and I learned it myself too. I think when I stop running away to confronting my traumas, that's when I finally feel like the light was going to my shadows, you know. And sometimes it's not about like just bring light to the shadow. It's also like turning to part of your experience and complement it with your other side of yourself, with this light side, with this bright side of you, and try to kind of like mix it in one journey and not make you a better person, because there's no better person. For me, there's a healthier person, and the healthier person is a concept you have to find in your own self. Just a reflection that I would like to say about this movie is, for me, just is not just a superhero. It's not just any kind of superhero movie, and that's kind of good for this channel because I think that was the perfect way to start. Because address trauma, addictions, emptiness without shame, and even in a really easy way. It's kind of like make it clear this message that you have to turn on the flashlight in the dark room, and that's the only way that you can see the real picture, the real trauma, the real thing that they make you stuck. And that's the only way, accepting that darkness, that's the only way that you can claim this healing process on you. And even though this movie maybe like make it too easy in the end, that just being in a group together you can all come out of these problems, that's because it's just a movie of superheroes. Still is like a blockbuster, so they need to bring this easy ending to just make it fun and everything. But if we go to like the meaning, or we just focus in the mental health journey, this is not the only way that you can confront trauma. No, of course it's good to be surrounded to the right people, but at the same time it comes and start from you. So if you're seeing this and you're going through a lot of not trauma, you're like going through a lot of like you feel really disappointed about your present life, that's when you need to see what the shadow is hiding from you, and what did you bury there that don't let you to see the whole picture about how your present life is going on. So I hope you really enjoy this movie review, and kind of like make it like fun, but at the same time a good way to growth, especially you going through a lot of mental health issues. Please don't forget to that the movie is coming on Disney Plus pretty soon, and I will recommend to rewatch this movie after watching this video, because maybe you can enjoy the movie from a different angle. And let me know what is your opinion, what it comes for you, how, if you like the movie, you didn't like the movie, you maybe feel different emotion, you have different connection with the movie the things that I mentioned right now. And please don't forget to subscribe and put your comments. What is your next what will be the next movie that you think we should be talking about here in this channel? Thank you so much for listening to me, and bye.